staggered, really, you know, just do some strings to get you some measurements. You can get as elaborate as you want.
Let's start that. And you go back 16 times, right?
18.
18.
Yeah, 18 strands. You could even do it on that long board like I showed you over there, where it's one continuous string rather than doing these bundles, you know, if that would make it any easier for you. In fact, that's the easiest string to make rather than this right here. This is more complicated, but to me it's easy to do and it makes a really good string. Okay. And you cut your strings, grab it. You don't want to get those strings, you don't want any kinks in them. You want to keep them laying as smoothly as you can. Put your wax on. Just run that string wax down 3 or 4 times. It gets the plies where they'll stick to each other well. Do 3 bundles of 6.
Alright, 3 bundles. I forgot about that.
And I've got this set to make a 69-inch string. And I think your string only needs to be like 60 inches. But I give myself a lot of extra length to have plenty of room to twist it and braid it, do whatever it. I don't mind cutting off, you know, 3 or 4 inches of extra. I'd rather it be a little bit long than short.
Okay.
This is fast flight string material.
Okay.
You've got is B50, so you can do 15 strands on it. You don't have to do 18. 15 strands would be.
Is it thicker?
It's a little thicker. Yep.
Okay.
Now we've got 3 bundles, and we're going to make those 3 into 2. Get our lengths the same. And come down about 8 inches, maybe 10. We're going to take one of the bundles and separate it into equal parts as close as we can into the other 2. And then we're going to start doing our twist for our loop. And we need to make about 22 wraps. That was 1, 2.
So you twist it in the opposite direction onto itself,
I'm
and
twisting
then
clockwise, bringing the bottom one around counterclockwise, twist it clockwise, counterclockwise, clockwise, counterclockwise, and twisting, the whole time. I twist it good and tight in that little 1/4 inch right there. Where I'm pinching with my finger, I'm holding that tight, and I'm twisting it as tight as it'll go, and then bringing the bottom one underneath, bringing it around counterclockwise, and then I'll twist it clockwise, bring the bottom one around clockwise, counterclockwise. Just keep doing that, and eventually it gets where you can just do it without even thinking. And like I say, you want about 22. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, now we want to go back. Now we've actually made our loop. What we're going to do, we're going to go back to 3 bundles again, and then we're going to braid that in where it all locks in. So we're going to take 3, some out of that one, take a few out of this one. So we've robbed a little bit out of each 2 to make
it doesn't really matter if you get the original or
no. I think just as long as you keep it halfway right, it's going to be okay. And then what you're going to do, you're going to lay each one of those 3 off the end of your loop, or what's going to be your loop, on your twisted material. You're going to come up here and lay it on these 3 strands. Bring it around, one on each. Just kind of, that wax will help hold it. Just kind of pull it down, down, and down. And we're going to take it and just put it over a little peg or something to start braiding it in, and just do a 3 flat braid, just like you would your little girl's hair.
right.
Okay.
And how many braids do you do?
Go down about 4 inches to where your tails that you laid on there, to where see, you got your tails here, down to about the end of them. I would think you could probably even get away with a couple of inches, but it just it's safer to have more than not enough. Any of these little tail ends, if they start sticking out, you can just take a razor blade and snip them off. It makes no difference. It's not going to come undone. So basically we're done right there. That's 4 inches right there. So we're good to go. So let's bring all your 3 strands down. Start twisting it up. Twist it counterclockwise. Give it a good hard pull to stretch it a little bit. The bow's going to do the most stretching for you.
And when we choose the length of the string, we want it to be 3 inches shorter than the bow tip to tip.
Right. Knock to knock.
Knock to knock.
Yep. 3 inches shorter than your knock to knock measurement. So if we were putting it on this bow right here, see how that's If you get it tight, that's roughly about 3 inches shorter than your knock to knock. But when you tie it on for the first time, you're going to bring it down maybe 5 inches because the string's going to stretch.
Okay.
So your first time you tie one on, just remember that it's going to stretch. I'm going to take this string off, and we'll start making this one to fit it and adjust it. So what we're going to do, we're going to twist up the last 4 or 5 inches of the string. So we're going to come down, and we're going to start right about here from the tip and go all the way down with that Flemish twist like I just did. Let me sit down. And what we do again, now we untwist this last foot of the string, and we're going to take these fibers and make 2 bundles. And make it into 2. Tends to want to kink up. Try to get both your bundles the same diameter, because if one's really small and the other one's large, one string's going to start getting done shorter than the other. So try to keep your bundles as close to the same amount of strands per bundle as you can. Got 2 pretty even bundles, and we're going to start that twist again, clockwise, counterclockwise. We're going to do this the whole length of the string, of that remaining foot of the string. This just gives the end of your string where you're tying your bowyer's knot, it gives that end of the string super protection. You don't have to do that. You could just tie it with just your regular flat strands with no twist to it at all, but by doing this, you're making this knock loop as strong as that knock's loop. So it just makes for a good strong string. And then where your timber hitch is tied, with fast flat material, those timber hitches tend to come untied. With B50, they don't do that, and I don't know why they do that, but they will come untied if you don't do this counter twist. And then I tie a little safety knot right at the end of the loop, and we'll show you that. Say right about there is a little bit more than what we would want in a finished string, but we're going to come down even just a tiny bit more. Well, maybe right there. And we're going to tie our knot. So right about there. Just bring it around. You've made a noose where this will slide up and down, and now you start coming through your actual loop for your knock, and you've created a noose there that will let this slide up and down, where it'll cinch down onto your deal on your bow knocks and won't come off. So that way, and you can loosen it, take it off at any time. Wrap through 4 times. There's 2, 3, 4. Now go to the string loop, to the knot, and just center that little noose right in the center of the bow limb. Suck it up there nice and tight. Pull your tail out of the way. You're ready to string the bow. Let's see if we need to make an adjustment on anything to string it. Grab a hold of the handle with your right hand. With your left, you're pushing down with the palm, and you're pushing and pulling at the same time. And just get a hold with your thumb and your index finger and push the string right up into the groove. I'm going to have to get a bigger bite because that's going to stretch up to nearly nothing. So unstring it and retie. Sometimes you have to do this 2 or 3 times until you get it the way you want it. But by making that noose, you can just slide that off, open it up, untwist it. There.
How much are you shortening it up by?
A little bit down here makes a big difference in the deal. I shortened it about 1 inch.
Okay.
Let's see what that does. Again, push. You don't want to ram the tip down into the ground. Just have it resting in the kind of the palm of your foot there. Pull up, push. That's a bit low yet, but we'll let it stretch for just.
You want it to be like this so that.
I like it where it's either 1 inch below my thumb or right at the thumb. So we could raise this up another inch and it would still be good. What you want is when your feather, when your shaft's on the string, I like my fletching where it's just touching the back of the handle. So right there would be a perfect brace height for this bow. And as it is, it's about a 3/4 of an inch low. So we could either retie that knot or take it off and twist the string just a little bit. And for 3/4 of an inch, I'll typically just twist the string rather than completely retying the knot. But it's gonna stretch just a little bit more when we start shooting it. So it wouldn't hurt to retie, because the bow string will stretch for about the first 25-30 shots, and then it will settle in and be done and won't stretch anymore.
Okay.
So I'm going to unstring it and move that knot up just a little bit. perfect. It's just right. Now what I'll do, we've got our string set where we want it. I'm going to tie just a little knot, just a little overhand knot, and bring it up right to the end of the string there. Just let that slide down to where it will end up being right at the end of the knot. And that's just a little safety knot. I don't know that you need it, but it feels better for me. And then I'm going to cut this off with a razor blade, and we'll burn it off.
And you have to burn it, right? Otherwise it will just unravel.
Yeah, start fuzzing up on you. And it will eventually anyway, but this is just going to slow it down. You can reburn it at any time. But that kind of marries all those fibers together and gets it stuck good. Okay, now we're going to do the serving of the string. We're going to picture where the arrow would be if it was being shot, and we're going to come up a few inches past that, say 2.5 inches. 2 is fine, but 3 is good. And then we're going to come down about 6 or 8 inches. Just put a mark there and there. That'll give us a reference point to go by with our serving material. And we're going to serve it with the bowstring. Got our mark there.
Can it be done without this tool, or it's a real pain?
I would think it could be done without the tool. It just does a tighter, neater job, because I started out without the tool. See, I just tie a knot, lay the string, the tail over the direction that I'm going to twist, and start wrapping.
Does it matter which direction you twist?
I've always done it this way. I don't know if it makes any difference, but usually you want to go in the direction of the twist of the string, so it'll stay tight. But I start twisting this thing up, and I'm going over the tail here where that's locked in, and it can't ever come untied because you've served over it. Now I just keep wrapping, pulling it tight until I get to the end of the serving tool, and then I'll start spinning it. And this has a little groove in it that the string fits in, and it will allow that to just spin right along. Go right down the string, tighten it up a bit. We're going to go all the way down to that mark that we made.
And the material that this black string is?
It's a nylon serving material.
So it's not the same string as the rest of it?
No, it's a little different material. It's a little thicker, and it's kind of braided. It's several little fibers put together to make that nylon string. What this does, this serving as we call it, it just protects the string in the area where it's getting the most wear, where the nock of the arrow is on the string and where your fingers are. It just makes for longer string life. You don't have to do it, But if you don't, you really need to wax your string a lot and constantly monitor it for string wear, because it can break. If your knocks start wearing a spot in the string, it'll shorten the life of your string, and the string could break, causing the bow to break. Alright, we've reached our mark that we've put on there. Now I take some artificial sinew, and I've got it with just a little loop at the end. I'm going to lay that over the string about an inch or so past where I have served, and I'm going to actually serve over that for about a quarter to a half an inch. Then we're going to take our loop, open it up, pull our serving thread down, keep hold of it so it doesn't unravel. And then we're going to run the end of your serving thread through the loop, so you can see how it's 3 little tiny fibers twisted together to make that serving material. Okay, we've run our loop, our serving material through the loop, and then we're gonna, it's easier for me to grab it with pliers, because you want to, and hold on to the end of the string here where you're pulling it from the underside all the way through this part of the string where you've served. So get that up there where you can get a good hold, pull, and that pulls that through, and then we'll cut it and burn it off, and it's done. And it can't come untied. Cut the string. Your lighter. Be careful not to burn the string. Finished string.
Great.